All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is panel time, and while we are in search of Roger Simon, who is heading up to our studios and is not used to the big city, so he's running around somewhere trying to find a cab or something, but he'll join us in progress, I hope. But Kristen Tate, she is used to the big city, and she is here, libertarian author, political columnist, founder of thelibertarianchick.com, and author of Government Gone Wild. There it is. All right, so Kristen, let me ask you first of all about the Kellyanne Conway remarks today that there will be no special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton and either the Clinton Foundation, which I find to be, very disappointing and kind of shocking.
Yeah, absolutely. No one is supposed to be above the law, including Hillary Clinton. So I think that Trump should allow the DOJ to investigate if they think an investigation is warranted. I mean, justice does not know your last name. Justice doesn't know if you've run for president. So, I think that we've got to hold everybody accountable regardless of whether or not they ran for president. Steve, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Hillary committed a violent crime. Are we just not supposed to investigate that because she ran for president? I mean, everyone needs to be held accountable, and you start going down a slippery slope when you don't do that just because someone is in a position of power or they ran for president.
Well, she once said famously about the super predators, as she called them, they need to be made to heal. And Donald Trump is saying that Hillary has to heal in a different spelling of the word and a different meaning of the word, but that's the reason given. And I don't want to think nefarious things. I don't want to think that the Clintons have sat down or got a message to Trump and said, "You do this, and I'm going to do that," and spill the beans. But then again, if they had stuff at the end, they probably would have spilled anything they had, in the first place. So I don't know if that's even legitimate to have in the back reaches of my mind. But it just does make you wonder. So much of his campaign was run on law and order, and no one's above the law. But you're right, and I hope that Senator Sessions, when he's Attorney General Sessions, will pursue it.
Yeah, I think that what Trump is trying to do right now is bring the country together, and I think that the cornerstone of his campaign was Make America Great Again. As great as it would feel to have Hillary be held accountable, he's kind of trying to prioritize right now, and I think he wants to focus his rhetoric and his energy on things like securing the border, protecting us from terrorism, jobs, the economy. I get that. There's a difference between that, though, and outright saying we're not going to hold her accountable. So, I think, yes, I understand he wants to prioritize those very important things that will make our country strong again, but you can't just let someone get away with flagrantly breaking the law because they were in a power position.
Absolutely. All right, I want to move on, guys. This will be 109, 110, 111. This is Howard Dean. Howard Dean, who is, the more he opens his mouth, the more he reinforces my belief that he's a despicable human being. I guess he's captured some of Harry Reid's disease here. Just say anything about anybody, and if it's true or not, it doesn't matter. But this really goes above and beyond Harry Reid, even to an extent. Listen to this.
He's a complicated guy. He appoints a reasonable person who's much more conservative than I am, but for somebody you can talk to his chief of staff and advisors a Nazi. I mean,
He said that Trump's advisor is a Nazi, that Steve Bannon is a Nazi. I don't know how many Jews he's plotted to throw into ovens. I don't know how many Jewish businesses he's burned down, and how many Jews he's rounded up. And I want you to hear the reaction of the interviewer. Let's play the next one.
Okay, hang on, slow down. Well, this is interesting. You're talking about Reince Priebus, who is the chairman of the Republican National Party, right? He's now his chief of staff.
Right.
Steve Bannon, who ran something called Breitbart News.
Right, which is a far-right anti-Semitic publication.
You called him a Nazi?
Well, he's anti-Semitic, he's anti-black, and he's anti-women.
People like to throw around this word Nazi. It's a pretty big word.
It's a big word, and I don't usually use it unless somebody's really anti-Semitic, really misogynist.
You really believe he's that? I mean, again,
go look at Breitbart News. You'll make up your own mind.
This man is out of his skull. He should be ashamed of himself. I would only hope Steve Bannon, I don't know the legalities of suing him, and then he comes, he's never met anybody as anti-Semitic as Steve Bannon. Based on what? And then there's this.
Some will say, look, Donald Trump's daughter married Steve Kushner, who's an Orthodox Jewish guy? How do you square the circle?
That's a very good question. I have no idea how he squares the circle.
Because he hired a Nazi. I mean, Kristen, this is, I mean, to say a Nazi, I mean, does he even have a clue what the hell he's saying?
This is character assassination, Steve. You know, there is no evidence. They throw around these terms with nothing to back them up. Whenever they call him a Nazi and say he's anti-Semitic, they point to two things. That his ex-wife in a divorce court said that he didn't want his kids to go to school with Jews, and then they reference Breitbart. And whenever they reference Breitbart, they bring up various headlines and do not explain the context of those
One
headlines.
in particular, the Bill Kristol story, Renegade Jew headline, written story and headline written by David Horowitz, a devout Jew, written about why Bill Kristol was letting the Jewish community down. We do have Roger Simon, co-founder of PJ Media, award-winning novelist, author of I Know Best, How Moral Narcissism is Destroying Our Republic, if it hasn't already. And Roger, welcome. I hope you heard the soundbite we just played, Howard Dean calling Steve Bannon a Nazi.
Well, you know something? I had the misfortune of knowing Steve Bannon for 10 years, so this makes it kind of weird. Also, I knew Andrew Breitbart, who was Jewish, of course, and did the Drudge Report from my house in Los Angeles. So I've known Bannon for quite a while. I also happen to be the author of 2 movies about the Holocaust, one of which I have an Academy Award nomination for. And so I would be sensitive to this issue, one would think. And I have never heard word one that sounded anti-Semitic out of Steve Bannon in all the years I've known him off and on. And how well do I know him? Last night I was on email with him. So, back and forth. So, I know the guy pretty well.
So, Roger, what
position? Anti-Semite is such a lie, it's just silly.
Roger, what position is he considering you for in the cabinet?
Lord High Executioner of the Ocean Seas.
I want you to weigh in before you got here. Kristen and I were weighing in on the announcement by Kellyanne Conway that there's no special prosecutor in the offing. I love saying in the offing. To investigate Hillary Clinton. Are you surprised? Disappointed? What?
I mean, look, no, I'm not surprised. And is it the smart thing to do? Yeah, I admit it. I mean, look, we'd all like to see the truth come out. And the truth is probably really ugly. But, you know, we got a nation to run, and the times are changing, and let's do it. And I think it was the smart move, I have to admit it, much as I'd love to see them suffer.
All right, Kristen, earlier in my beginning of the show, I alluded to the fact that this actor, this Brandon Victor Dixon from Hamilton, who lectured Vice President-elect Pence, has some vicious tweets about white women calling women in general hoes. I mean, don't these people, I mean, not that the mainstream media will ever mention it, but don't these people know if they've done that, they shouldn't be up there making a political spectacle of themselves?
That's right. But Steve, he's a liberal. He can get away with whatever he wants, including engaging what the left would call rape culture. Not only rape culture, but making racist comments. But again, no one's talking about this because he's a liberal, and right now he's their hero because he lectured the vice president, Donald Trump's vice president. So, unfortunately, yeah, this guy's a hypocrite, but no one's talking about it.
Roger, I mean, I don't know if you saw this, I don't know if you're aware of it, but he has some pretty vicious tweets out there, including, as I said, calling women, referring to them as hoes, and talking about how it's whatever holiday it was he was referring to. Can we put that first? Can we put that one up?
I was shocked.
Yeah. There's one talking about. Yeah, there it is. St. Patty's Day. That's it. Weekend is like Christmas for black dudes who like white chicks.
That's not even the worst one, Steve. There's
no, it's not the worst one. I know.
That talks about raping housewives, raping white housewives.
Yeah, you put the next one up again. Oh, so that is what is it called? Jump off. Jump off is raping. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's what I've read. I don't know the lingo, but
yeah. For every racist comment I get about Trayvon, I'm going to turn one white married suburban housewife and mother into a jump off. I heard it was some kind of attack. I didn't know it was rape. Anyway, Roger, how is it possible we haven't heard all about this on CNN this morning?
CNN is having an disagreement with the president, as we've noticed. The long run thing, though, of this is going to be interesting. The effect on the culture of what's going on now, I think, could be monumental. I'm hoping for it. My fingers are crossed big time, because this kind of nonsense is terrible. It's mostly terrible for the kids. I mean, and black kids especially, but all kids.
All right.
So this stuff has got to end, and it'll be interesting to see if a year from now they're still spouting this nonsense.
Well, I believe they will, even worse. We're going to come back with both of you guys, and we're going to talk about the meeting yesterday with the media at Trump Tower and the reports out of that meeting. I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall or ceiling or floor. I don't care. We're coming back. Don't go away.